Okay. So this first poem is, I can't help but follow. I can't help but follow. Astonished by my own fascination, I must see what will happen next. It's like being carjacked, swept away by a curiosity that overcomes my fear of being taken to some discontinent place where skeletons half buried decompose in the pristine. My imagination is the vehicle. It drives me on, its tooting horn trumpets my intention as I round each bend, crest each hill, in search of more. A warrior to the battle, I can't help but follow. This next piece is called Inheritance. Ever since my 17th great Edmund, the Earl of Kent, lost his head, we who followed mostly kept ours, bearing fruit, nourishing each tree limb, seeding the future, which led to sprouting me, the last leaf on my branch. Like the mountain peaks dressed in wintry white, my lineage has grown from the unknown, eroded over the years, boulders to rocks, pebbles to tiny grains of sand, each holding a uniqueness, a life all their own. Together we stretch from beginning to the next, onward, each connected, like siblings from different parents, born over the centuries, all the while holding a shared spark, life. Born Potter. Dolly and Reverend Potter were beloved, raised up their 4 girls, the Potter girls, as they came to be known, each God-fearing and well-respected. Eliza, the oldest, married Earl Wickwire. After high school, they farmed a large tract of land south of town, across the St. Elms Bridge, raised 2 boys and 3 girls, considered a successful family. Dolly moved in with the Wickwires following her husband's death. She and her sister, Fidelia Hyde, also a widow, shared a room vacant after Eliza's oldest went off to the Navy. A farmer he was not. One by one, the Wickwire children made their lives in the wider world, leaving the farm to the elders, and after a time, Earl passed. Mildred, the youngest, joined her sisters and her mother on the farm. In the end, all became the Potter girls again, a reflection of how they began. This one's called Across Time and Space. Ichabod Allen, my mother's second cousin, 7 times removed, born in 1676, Massachusetts colony, married to Elizabeth, born Belcher or Griffith, perhaps Simmons, who knows for sure, all a match from other family trees. Now my tree has thickened. My handful of Allens, a dozen wives, husbands, offsprings, but only one daughter, her namesake, survived until 1805, the last twig on that branch. The nearest in age to me, she died in her 89th year in Plymouth, Massachusetts, by then a state. She and her relations saw it all. The days of colonial rule, wars with the French, the Tea Party in Boston, the declaration that led to our freedom, Washington and the Revolution, the founding fathers and the Constitution. And now to another family, duck rain. Yesterday's storm turned the pond to the ducks. Where pasture grasses grow, a large patch of water now covers. Only there in the late fall and winter, a world to swim and feed there under the trees. Soon, newborn ducklings will get their first taste of the wet. The pond will be their winter home, enjoying the fun of floating, the tasting green morsels everywhere. And they paddle one after another, all in a line behind their mother. White flakes will come and go. Surface ice, hard one day, will turn to wet again under the warmth of the sun, teaching ducklings the magic of nature. The days begin to lengthen. Frost will not visit each night. Mornings will be crisp and cool. The warmth of spring afternoons will return to the land. The pond will give way to the grasses. The family of ducks will be ready, taking to the air when the time is right, off to their summertime wet, a river, lake, full of fish and green water shoots. Life will continue its cycle until the next fall, when duck rain will return to the pasture. So as you can see, I kind of write with a minimalist kind of perspective. I think if I wrote a poem more than, say, 3 pages long, I'd probably forget where I started. So I always try to keep my ideas kind of shortened so that it just kind of captures what I'm trying to say. So this is a poem called Dawn. Islands of fur appear floating in a sea of morning fog, shrouded in the cloudy dawn, as a hooded mountain appears, silhouetted in coral and blues. As the last stars of yesterday twinkle and go out, morning is breaking, quiet, cool, and new. I'm lucky enough to have that pretty much every morning out my window for breakfast. Here's one. Yeah. Mason. He drank his fill as usual, a Friday night routine. Headed home mindless. No one took his keys. He assured everyone he was fine. Red and blue surrounded his car. Hearing "pull over" shook him to his senses. Too late to sober up. Couldn't walk the line. Heels and toes in every direction. His nose gone missing from his face. Arrested under lock and key. This time he's sealed in the jar. Yeah, I'm not sure if you folks had mason jars over there, but it sounds like you do. This one's The Magic in the Ordinary. I watch from miles away. The roaring, open-mouthed bear appears in a storm cloud, snorting and growling, when a westerly wind of change reduces it to a mere puff of gray. I hoped a white dove would take its place. It did not come into view. The destruction of the bear was enough. Diane. Here's a short series entitled Leaves. Showering golden leaves from above, each tree releases them, starting a new flow. Dust. Toot. Blown across my mind's eye, a wave of perfection. The lawn covered underfoot, windswept, dissolving into the makings, daily becoming ready, the ingredients of life, soil. 3. Rain soaked, the rake reveals a telltale musty scent of decay. The foul to be avoided in the winter becomes the stuff of blossoms and blooms in the garden. Flowering, sweet scents of green and blues, purples and reds spring into summer, surprising my eyes, making my belly ready. Bounty. This is on a rock. It's called rock. It was a bit larger than its fellows, and for years it sat close to the trunk of a tree, covering its roots. Moss grew over the years, coating it with green. Rain soaked during a freeze, it cracked, revealing a weakness found by the never-ending force of the water. It had found it out, taking a chip off the old block. It's another one about just out in my yard. I have the luxury of being able to walk around and see nature and watch it change from year to year or stay the same. So this is discovery. I spied it there beyond the barbed wire fence in the shadows, surrounded by trees. It had survived the winter, tucked away safely beneath a blanket of fir needles. A single daffodil flashing a yellow trumpet, declaring its rebirth. My neighbor's tree down the hill. She was surprised by the roar, recoiled as the teeth bit into her. The lowest branches closest to the road. She recalled other such losses over the years, understanding that the stretch of black dirt needed to be free of her shade. The men worked on. Her upper branches began to leave her, feeling light where there had not been any in many years. She relaxed in the warmth, comforted that it would soon be over, the trimming, like times before. Then the cuts continued from one shoulder to the next. Her sap wept like tears as each limb fell to earth, until she stood naked, only a bare trunk, a stump, now standing alone at the fence line. The hawks and I will miss her. And now a few loose ends to close with. Arrival. We are here in the flesh touching, hugging, and kissing, our Eastern humidity frowns turned upside down by our granddaughter's smiles, melting us into pools of gratitude. I sing her our usual name song. She knows us in a flash. Her giggles at my funny faces. She giggles at my funny faces and has me in stitches. Hopelessly mesmerized, I follow her everywhere, snapping frame after frame, the park, my studio, my heart overflowing. Perhaps an ice floe or two. Snow surrounds the pool, making swimming only for polar bears. The white holding this deepest of blue, motionless, smooth, not a ripple, as though it is waiting for something. Now one that's a little bit sad. Taking risks. The alternative to neglect is to become so special. You're destined to be alone. By choice, you avoid rejection. It's better to be an alien. Taking a chance, sharing his memories, he knows the loss is so awful. His grandfather's death turned his life and childhood right into more loneliness, raised by strangers, making him even more an alien. Making a best friend, another orphan seems safe to him. Both in each other's arms, understanding grows comfort, safety. Then death takes his friend. Left alone again, the knot tightens. Better to be an alien. Losses string together, tightening like a noose around his neck, strangling his being here in this existence. It is just too much to bear. It is better to be an alien. For a period of time, I worked at a residential treatment facility for teenagers primarily. And this is one about a particular day. The boy was taken back. The football game ended with boys and men in a pile celebrating as I looked on from the sideline. A man rolled about on the ground with the boy, like a bear with its cub. The boy was scared, taken back to some other time and place, a place of fear and hurt. He responded like a hurt animal, recoiled, preparing to be hurt again. He was taken back to a terrible time when another man hurt him so. They were at once touching and separated. The boy in his pain and the man in his joy. Disappointment loomed, then was gone. Vanquished by the healing power of the hug, a hug too strong to hurt the boy, just right to exercise his memory, to a land of bad dreams long past. A man rolled around on the ground with a boy like a bear with its cub. The boy was scared no more. He was taken to a place of joy and laughter and trust renewed, a place born of the man's goodwill, protected, where the boy could be happy once more. Scout's wisdom. Like the pasture below, to kill a mockingbird is shaded according to the season, the time of day, and one's point of view, requiring one's imagination to reveal what is hidden there in the entirety of its life, what is invisible to the naked eye. It can only be seen through faith, using the power of empathy's light to understand the lush of springtime, its birth by cold, white darkness of winter, after being raised by dry, burning sun, leaving the earth cracked and thirsty, awaiting being blanketed under a layer of cool, moist, fallen leaves to continue life. Such a faith lived in Boo's heart. Scout understood that others missed. She saw him, welcomed his hidden frame into the light from the shadow behind the door, that terrible night of danger. Scout knew to return him softly to his perch on the porch. Then looking out from the shade, she could see what was missing day after day, season after season. Empathy's sway over justice, invisible to the naked eye. Thank you. A little bit more about the neighborhood. Trash bag. A white plastic bag keeps catching my eye in the wet of the west pasture. Keep thinking it's a loose chicken. The wind is its driver as it appears to forage. Appearing weeks ago, it was stuck first on a downed branch, bouncing there in the rain like a lost party balloon. Then it disappeared, relieved that it was gone, dismayed next when it returned. Now it dances back and forth between the two fence lines, just enough to make me notice, like a younger sibling teasing me, singing, "Ha ha, you can't catch me." An eyesore I can't ignore. It's on my neighbor's property, and they're in Arizona. The bag's untouchable, so it can't be caught. Poet's kitchen. Like a fine salad, all the ingredients are present. Combining is the challenge, the dressing, the tossing, that each person completes to make the dish. Each poem arrives fresh from my mind's kitchen, a perfectly unformed thought, ripe for creation in the bowl, through the reader's critical eye, forked this way and that, teased into its unique mix, becoming tasty bites, each soul anticipates. Well, again, it's been a real pleasure to read to you folks. The other writers groups that I belong to are critique groups, and so I get the opportunity of reading one or two poems every time we get together. Having the luxury of being able to read for 15 or 20 minutes is pretty nice. So thank you very much. I much appreciate it. So my final poem is Finding Peace. I hope for days to carry me like horses free, swiftly racing on an open range, away from danger, into an unknown keeping. When the gallop slows, I slip off onto the land, savoring the sweet scent of clover, enjoying the peace that I find there. Such places appear pleasant surprises, hoped for in dreams, easily missed if I'm not careful. They bid me to lie down in safety, to rest.
Bob, thank you so much. Really great to hear you, really great to see you. Thank you for a lovely pastoral-based reading. We've loved it in the room. I hope everybody on Zoom has enjoyed it too. So Bob, thank you so much. Bob Renard, thank you.
Thank you for inviting me. I appreciate it.
Okay, now in the room here, we're going to take just 2 minutes while people, if they want to replenish drinks and stuff from the cafe. If we don't put money behind the cafe counter, we may not come back. So we need to run off and do that, and then we will rejoin you immediately. So no more than 5 minutes and probably less, and we'll rejoin you. So thank you so much. We'll see you in a minute. Yeah, right. Who was the last person? I don't know, but there's the list. I don't know, Tina. Jennifer.
She's gone now. No, thank you for people leaving. I have to head out now.
Oh,
Kevin P.
oh, hang on, what's he saying? It's a lovely city. So see, yeah, maybe we've got everybody then.
Have you, I don't know, put that down again.
We'll just click it again, click there, chat.
Minimise there.
Yeah.
So Tina, Lou.
No, I've got the iPhone is easy. Yeah, it was Jennifer who's now gone, so that's all right. Okay, cool.
We're not up for a board meeting. No, I know.
Thank you.
I don't know when the option comes up or whether it probably
Whatever you've done with
set it to automatically export.
Yes, I think we're still struggling.
Chat is separate. The recording comes out of the media file. So the recording is set to record the file, which basically means once we shut this down, it kind of picks up where it left off. But otherwise, if we were to record to this device, we would have to wait until it in OneTel was the connection until it finished downloading. So we're recording to the
Not that I've got. What do you need?
I was just going to...
Why, so are you getting low?
Yeah, it's going down really quickly. It's because the screen's really bright.
When did you see more there?
It's very high, do we?
Yeah, it did. So,
Yeah. It doesn't affect what's going on there, does it?
I think it's maybe.
I'll bring an extension lead next time as well. Just keep an eye on it all the time.
That's good. That the iPad will work, so that's good.
No, that's just like the works and they do.
Jennifer, have you seen John White lately?
I have not. I know that he's having a show in Sylvia's gallery right now. They have new art up, but I haven't seen it or him.
Where's Sylvia's gallery?
I think it's in Agora. It's called Z Gallery, I think. Capital Z and then gallery.
That used to be a furniture store. Z Gallery in Arizona certainly was a furniture store. I remember we bought lots of stuff from it, I think. Anyway, if anybody sees John White, can you give him my love and tell him I'm thinking of him? If any of you see him, just say.
I'll pass it along to Brad. I know Brad's been seeing him.
Right, please do, please, because I think of him often and I really would love to see him again.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, right, all of us.
So Jennifer, where are you living now?
Amarillo, I just moved.
Amarillo. You're not in California?
Camarillo is in California.
Oh, you said Camarillo. I thought you said Amarillo.
No.
Camarillo, okay.
Yeah, no, that was when he said he couldn't have his.
Let me see. I'm trying.
Okay, guys. So I hope you're all ready online. Let's all settle down, sit down, and get ready to enjoy the open mic bit. Now, those of you who've been to the Ventura open mics will understand the rules, and you'll be able to repeat them better than I can. But the rules are these, quite simple. One piece, no epics, I mean it. So that's the story. You all know that. I'm going to start the open mic, so please, everybody mute yourselves after that wonderful reading from Bob. Thank you. Everybody mute yourselves, and we're going to start in the room with Christine.
Should it have that thing on there?
It doesn't matter about that.
Fine. Okay. It was so nice to hear that, our guest reader. That was lovely. I'm going to recall our fish and chips and cruise, which we took on the 28th of May, thanks to Mike and Ken and Denny. And for that, I wrote some words to the tune of The Drunken Sailor.
Yes.
So I am now about to attempt to sing it for you. Bear with me. Captain Wagtail set sail early in the evening. Dun da da dun da da dun dun da da. Shiver me timbers, here we go. Then a bunch of poets on a boat with our Ken. A bunch of poets on a boat with our Ken. Early in the evening. Water gypsies out on a jolly. I've brought my overcoat and a brolly. Staying ashore would be just folly. Early in the evening, a nod can be as good as a wink. I really hope that we don't sink. We'll be all right once we've had a drink. Tomorrow we'll be sober. Heave away and haul away. We're bound for the Spotted Cow today. I've never been there on a boat this way. Early in the evening, fish and chips and a bottle of beer. A poem or two is what we'll hear. A poem or two is what we'll hear. early in the evening. A poem or two won't do us any harm. A poem or two won't do us any harm. A poem or two won't do us any harm. Early in the evening, swab the decks and splice the ropes. Life is full of dreams and hopes. Life is full of dreams and hopes. Boating's the life for me. Oi!
Okay, that was when famously when we hired a canal boat, rented a canal boat, and we drove down the Chichester Canal and back with fish and chips, a load of poets, and some beer and wine. That was even better the second time, Christine. Thank you so much. Okay, we're going to go to the Zoom now, please, and I'm going to invite Britta to speak.
Thank you. Well, I'm not quite sure how to follow this one up. I shall not sing for the sake of mankind. This is a wee thing I wrote yesterday. Spring of souls. Whatever winter did to us, there's more, there's deeper, there's darker, and somewhere at the bottom of it all, buried a new beginning, an unsightly inkling, a knobbly notion, a want, a wish, and a will, stubborn, obnoxious, readying, prepping like there is no tomorrow, for there won't be, unless somewhere, someone, safe in all the layers of darkness, unfurls like the very first leaf, out into the sunlight, to claim their place as though they belong. Whatever winter did to us, there's more, always. Thank you.
Thank you, Britta. Thank you. Thank you. Great to hear you again. Okay, we're going to come back into the room now, and we're going to go with David.
Yeah. Well, that fine. Goody. Good. Well, hello everybody. What a pleasure to be here again. Chilly April. Yeah, even on England's southernmost coast. The beauty of the cherry blossom could not attract the muse into my wintry garden. Instead, could I perhaps share with you a golden memory from a dramatic moment in our nation's history. My absolute favourite poem, which also reveals much about one of our greatest poets, William Wordsworth. Born 1770 into a prosperous family, he sowed his wild oats with Samuel Taylor Coleridge and was caught up in the radical fervour of the French Revolution. The bloody terror followed also by military dictatorship, were to dramatically change his views, and by 1802 he was a well-regarded poet living in a respectable London household with his sister. 1802, and London was already becoming a global hub of shipping, finance and commerce. But the country was still terrified by the threat of Napoleonic invasion and domestic insurrection. 3 years later, and Nelson terminated there must be a better word than that. He ended the invasion fears anyway at Trafalgar to launch a century for which Britain did indeed rule the waves. 2 years after that, Britain became the first country in the world to abolish slavery, and the Royal Navy began a very long, a very expensive, a very bloody campaign to enforce abolition, initially against the opposition of every other civilised country. Civilised? Well, that's how they were regarded. This poem was written early on a late summer's morning while passing over Westminster Bridge in a carriage on the way to Calais. Seems to me to express the mature Wordsworth love for all of humanity, good and bad, and for man's works as well as God's. He was more than a great poet of nature, but a great humanist. The philosophy of human life and death was always his central concern. And the poem was, many may have guessed by now, composed upon Westminster Bridge, September 3rd, 1802. Earth has not anything to show more fair. Dull would he be of soul who could pass by a sight so touching in its majesty. This city now doth like a garment wear the beauty of the morning, silent, bare, ships, towers, domes, theatres and temples lie open unto the fields and to the sky, all bright and glittering in the smokeless air. Never did sun more beautifully steep in his first splendour valley, rock or hill. Ne'er saw I, never felt a calm so deep. The river glideth at his own sweet will. Dear God, the very houses seem asleep, and all that mighty heart is lying still. Thank you.
Thank you, David. I have your glasses case. D'accord. Okay, so we'll go back on Zoom now, I think, for the next reader, and I'll invite Elaine to open up your mic. Let's go.
Hello, everybody. Good to see you all again. My poem is about driving down Highway 101 into LA and listening to Al Jarreau. So the title is Dreaming Highway 101 to Al Jarreau's Could You Believe? Some songs over the city, like prophecy rising over rooftops and palm trees, a litany of plangent notes laden with prayer, whispering dreams about people lingering behind walls, doorways, windows, summoned from the pockets of shadow into the soaring notes of a heart rent by unbearable nostalgia. In the hollows and valleys of song, the energy of 1,000 souls and their secret stories in LA's little canyons, in their houses on the hillside, tingle with connection and rise through a rent in the fabric, a zenith of longing with its ache of unknowing. And you yourself, O poet, among them, immolated by song and the soul's elision into solitude and the caesura, syllable of death. Thank you.
Thank you, Elaine.
You're welcome.
I'm not sure whenever anybody mentions the 101 whether I get nostalgic or PTSD. You probably need to have driven it to know. Okay, next up.
It's both.
Yeah, it is both. I know. I think it is. Okay, we're going to stay online, and I'm going to ask, please, Jen, please unmute yourself and let's hear from you.
Hi. I just got my poem. It's really nice to be back. Thank you, Bob, for starting us off, and Ken for hosting this gathering that I always intend to come to and then somehow generally miss, but I'm so glad it's here. Okay. This is called If You Dare. And if you dare to pray, it better be to someone who understands you. It better not be to the downpour of judgment and pleas to be clean. It better not be full of questions to Jesus in the dark, whispering, "Why did you make me wrong?" And if you dare to pray, it had better be done on your feet, arms outstretched in love, rising up into the sky from the tips of your fingers. It better not be to a Father God who worked to make you and then shot you full of sin. And if you dare to pray, it better be to someone who loves you, fresh as a dew kiss, ripe as grandmother's cantaloupe in summer, with her mysterious, perfect picking ways. It better not be to the demons that claw at you in the halfway space, panting power and promise. And if you dare to pray, it better be to someone, something where you belong, where your hand is taken, pulled into the circle, where family speaks and receives, open-eared. It better not be to the stomping bully with her cackle, glare, and extended finger before turning away. And if you dare to pray, it had better be to the thing that nurtures you, the water, the sky, the fingers in sunlight, alighting on your skin, the soil ground beneath you. It better not be to the thing that crumples you up with yesterday's newspaper, rendering you just as expired and irrelevant. If you dare to pray, it had better be to something that believes in you, the open mouth of love, the open palm of generosity, of spirit in this realm and the next. It had better be to a thing that pants in your ear, the unbroken promise of running every mile beside you, from the heights of elation to the doorstep of hell. It had better be a companion who will cleave right back and dance with your feet on its toes and your laughter in its ear. Thanks.
Missed you. Thank you. Okay, we're going to come back in the room, I think, and we'll go with Sue.
Hello, friends in the room and friends on Zoom. Hello. This is my the poem I've written most recently, and it's actually called Recently. So, just recently, I've noticed, hidden in my poetic soul, cowered behind the should and would, if only I could, there's an unacclaimed, unloved version of me that sometimes others see in glimpses, not fancy-free and laughing, but failing, falling, sometimes crawling blindly upward towards a sunshine spotlight of a creative delight. Thank you.
Thank you, Sue. Thank you very much. Okay, back online again, and I think I'm going to say, look, welcome. I haven't seen you for a long time. It's great to have you join us. Kevin Patrick Sullivan. If he's still there. Is he still there? Yeah. There he is.
Is this working?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We can hear you fine.
All right. Great. An earlier version of this poem was just published in Salt out of Santa Barbara, editor and publisher Christopher Buckley.
Yeah.
A Saturday afternoon in Detroit. Saturday afternoon in Detroit, and McDonald's refused to serve my buddy Blondie. His nickname, because he was blonde like summer wheat. We are in a car with a few of our friends. Ozone, he was always out there. Red, because he was red on the head like a dick of a dog. And Dickie. They call me crazy. Well, that's another story. But this story is about how we all were stoned on pot, booze, and PCP. So when Blondie comes back to the car, every one of us felt insulted. We were pissed off, and we drove away to make a plan. Blondie drove around the block and pulled over. In our collective stupor, we could not formulate a plan other than throwing rocks or whatever else we could lay our hands on. All we could find was Blondie's tire iron and some car parts in the trunk. With these objects in hand, we went back to McDonald's, got out of the car, walked up and threw them through the big plate windows there. It was surreal watching the glass break and then the reaction of the people eating their Big Macs and quarter pounders, their amazement at the glass falling, car parts flying through the air, people jumping back with fries and burgers in their mouth and hands. I stood mesmerized as if it were an art installation. Everybody else jumping into the car, Blondie honking the horn. The guard and the police were right there quickly. It was the booze and the PCP. You know, I'm a very nice guy now. That happened such a long time ago.
Thank you, Kevin. Yeah, I'm sure it did. Okay, we're back in the room. And here's a teaser for June's featured reader. June's featured reader will be Naomi.
This is very strange, isn't it? I'm not going to get self-conscious here. On any account, okay, I'm going to read a poem called On Turning 53. It's actually not a new poem, but I've been working on it for a few years. Turning 53 was significant to me because my mother died at the age of 52. So this is in memoriam to Brenda MacDonald Riches, who died in 1994, which you might remember is the year that the comet Schumacher, I think, hit Jupiter. Yeah, she died that week. All those decades since her death, spent sunburnt, moonspun, getting high on rank Venusian fumes, digging into mercury with a silver grapefruit spoon, crying when you heard there was a time when Mars was blue. Decades distant now as marbles in someone else's childhood, for you have lived just long enough to learn that those determined forays, alluring orbits, familiar ellipses, were simply flybys, gravity assists, to catapult you through the nearly lethal maze of your own cellular debris and sling you out, a battered gold insectoid probe, past the perfect storm of Jupiter and the ghost of that disintegrating comet, captured by the giant, the month your mother breathed her last. Now lost in a verdigris sea of vapors, swirls of antiquarian cloud. Yes, out past all that, past Saturn's frozen halo, the shattered glitter of a sacrificial moon, raked by diligent sisters, into rings for lonely fingers, a silent ice LP, slowly vanishing Zen garden. You blink at and sail by, out, out, out to Uranus and its eerie stillness, Neptune's diamond rain, the ecstatic calm you never thought you'd find, out past Pluto's heart, that double-lobed grey crater, beyond which you are no more than a glinting hint of the sun you can never leave behind. For though your mind drifts ever on into a starlit sea of dust, your feet, older now than hers, look down, still tread the burning earth.
Thank you, Naomi. That's fantastic. June. So remember, our third Wednesday in June. More of that. Thank you. Okay, so we're back online, and we're welcoming Tina. Tina tells me that she wants to make a shameless plug for a book. So, Tina, get on with it.
Okay, so I published my novel at last. I've been working on it on and off for about 3 years, so I'm sort of sick of it actually. So I was really pleased to have it done. It's a little unusual. It's a fusion, between prose and poetry. The main character is a singer-songwriter, so most of the chapters begin with some of her lyrics or a whole song or a poem to kind of chart her emotional journey. So I thought I'd read one of the poems to you tonight. This one's called Fragments. Life can be very hard, leaves us aching, empty, sore. We've all had our hearts broken, had our backs up to the wall. I guess we're all a little fragmented. You don't get through life unscathed. It's part of being human to have to learn to live with pain. But one day we need to stop crying, though we ache and we're still raw. We sigh, sit up, dry our tears, a little unsteady, let down, unsure. And we gather up those pieces, stitch those fragments of our heart, because we never lose our stories, woven into each new start. We may even try to love again. It takes courage, but we do, searching for that special someone who's patched up with fragments too.
Thank you, Tina. Thank you, and best of luck with the book. Okay, I'm going to stay online just for a minute and go with Wheezy, please. Welcome.
Hello, it's nice to be back in England again, sort of online. And Naomi, I know what you're saying. It's a relief to live 1 year past your mother's death. Thought of that myself. And Bob, thank you so much. I enjoyed your reading, and we're back in the pasture again with my poem. It's called Home in Indiana. Not far from the Wabash, our maple tree grows, used for shade in our picnic days, on lovely serene Sundays, flawless velvet lawns. One balmy night, your words whispered in soft, deep gray, thanking me for my loving glance. Such a small thing, but we live in small things, simple things. Nothing is quite as addictive as looking back to the past. This moment not fully valued until a memory, being with you, my last time to love completely, no bars, no pushing back. Thank you.
Thank you, Wheezy. Lovely to see you again. So we come back in the room now. I'll ask Rebecca, please, to come.
Okay, well, I'm going to sing. I'm a bit sad that the other Nigel isn't here tonight, because it was because of him that I got to sing, because at the Grainingwell play, we got talking with my mum and dad, and my mum was saying how she sings with my dad on the guitar. My dad is too shy to come play his guitar, so this song is unaccompanied. But it was through that I got to ask, can you sing at Wagtails? And of course you can. So, and this song was written during lockdown. And my singing teacher had just written a song for the NHS. And I thought, well, what can I write a song for? And I thought, well, I'll write a song for the down at heart. So this is called A Song for the Down at Heart. These songs for the broken-hearted, for the misunderstood, when dreams are all departed. How can our times be good? I am too poor to help you. What have I got to give? I don't know what I can do. How can we start to live? So let me sing this song for the down at heart, for the ones forgotten all over the world. Let me open my eyes to the lonely and afraid, wherever they are. Open my eyes, open my heart, open my mind. Unseen, we can be broken with not a chance to live. Good words may go unspoken. How can we all forgive? We all need time to cherish. We all need space
Wow, Rebecca, thank you. Wonderful, thank you. I'm sorry that I'm going to ask Bethan to have to follow that. Beth. Well, no, I'm saying, okay, did you know what I meant? I meant I'm pleased, but somebody has to follow. All right, get him off.
I'm a little bit shy. I might leave it today.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure? Yeah. I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say, actually, we don't have very much time, but...
well, it's only you, me and Lou.
Okay, well, I'll quickly say something, because I tend to say a bit of this at each open mic anyway. We all know, most of us have stood up and read something here, but it just bears repeating how incredibly exposing it is, even if it's a small space. And, of course, when Zoom is recording, we can feel so exposed. And so just thank you to everybody who comes and reads their work out loud or sings, Rebecca. This is really important to us that we come together and do this together, because we have found that actually connecting with each other and share. Earlier today, Ken and I gave a talk to a group about this, and we'll find the quote, but there's a quote in Shakespeare somewhere that talks about lest we lose our human title. And I think it's Shakespeare, this is something that we have found certainly after lockdown, that connecting in this way, being with each other, sharing words, thoughts, feelings, stories, all the stuff that makes us human, is really powerful and comforting. So thank you to everybody who does that. I guess I will read something. Do you know what? I am going to read somebody else's poem. I've loved this poem all my life. I first discovered it when I was a student. And I've often sent it to other friends when they're going through a change in their life. And I just find it really comforting. It's called Black March by Stevie Smith. I have a friend at the end of the world. His name is a breath of fresh air. He is dressed in grey chiffon. At least I think it is chiffon. It has a peculiar look, like smoke. It wraps him round. It blows him out of place. It conceals him. I have not seen his face, but I have seen his eyes. They are as pretty and bright as raindrops on black twigs in March, and heard him say, I am a breath of fresh air for you, a change by and by. Such a pretty time, Black March I call him, because his eyes, being like March raindrops on black twigs. Such a pretty time when the sky behind black twigs can be seen stretched out in one uninterrupted Cambridge blue as cold as snow. But this friend, whatever new names I give him, is an old friend. Whatever names you give me, I am a breath of fresh air, a change for you.
Gotta love Stevie Smith. Okay, and then our final online reader is Lou. Please unmute yourself.
So happy to have found you all. This is a really lovely evening. This is a piece called Welcome to the Now. Welcome to the now. Allow no hesitation for more rumination, a safer situation or inspiring quotation. This is your station. This is your stop. Just mind the gap as you climb off. You can delay, postpone, press pause, atone, make to wait your occupation, to defer a vocation, as though procrastination is a final destination. but this is your stop. Step off. Welcome to the now. Your turbulent train of thought brought you here, fraught, caught in its whirling wheels of worry and hurry, frenzy and flurry, sidetracked, derailed, dreams failed. All things come to those who wait, right? So when did you last see swine in flight? You can wait for tomorrow or for Godot, perhaps a blue moon, life to attune or be immune. Hang on, hold fast, grow a crust, even rust. The time is never entirely proper to drop off or stop or take off at a tangent, but this is your perfect moment. This is your stop, so step off. Welcome to the now. Detach from your luggage the dead weight tonnage of disturbing drama, chaotic karma, and imagined umbrage. This is your, if not now, then when or how, stop. Step off. Meet and greet your sidelined sweet self. Welcome to the now.
Thank you, Lou, and welcome.
Thank you so much.
If I may borrow a line. Okay. So I just want to thank everybody for reading tonight, and we've had some fantastic readings as always, and singings. So it's been a wonderful evening. Bob, thank you so much again. Wonderful to see old friends. So I'm going to finish with one. Some of you know, and some of you may not know, that we've got a dog now. We went to Collie Rescue, and we allowed the dog to rescue us. So we are now officially his rescue humans. So this is a poem called Rolling. Morning. And I watch as the dog rolls in the dew, scattering leaves, beads of water casting rainbows in the chill, still air, making that self-satisfied grunting noise that dogs make when no one is watching, lost in their own world. I stand, shake my head, try to slough off that feeling of reluctant mourning, clear the clawing strands of abandoned dreams. The dog watches, dispassionate, and wonders idly why I am not rolling in the dew. Okay, so thank you very much. It's wonderful to see everybody, as I said. So we've got a few notices about events upcoming. Mainly, I'm saying sorry for you guys on Zoom. Mostly these don't apply. But so firstly, coming up on Friday, this Friday, is our Lou Beckerman, who's just joined us recently, is reading poetry and singing jazz. With Joss Peach on the piano at the Vic in Arundel at 7:30 on Friday. That's right, Lou. Anything else you want to say about that?
No, that's it. Thank you. Be gorgeous to see anyone that can come. I know Sue's coming. So thanks. Lovely.
Yay. Let's get there. If we can get there, we need to do an away day to the Vic because great stuff happens in Arundel. Okay, on May 3rd is our next open mic. just the open mic here at Wagtail. May the 8th, again at the Vic in Arundel, is the Arts Junction. I think Janine Booth is a reader, and other stuff happens at the Vic. So that's good on May the 8th. May the 17th, we have an open mic and our Zoom and our featured reader, who is our own Bethan, on May 17th. So be here for that. Yay. And our last mention is, please remember we have out a call for submissions. Please send any submissions you may have to inquiries@wordsoutloud.org.uk concerning loss and landscape. We've been invited to provide words for a photography exhibition from Frankie Knight, who is someone who's been to some of our open mics, and she's a photographer, clearly. She has an exhibition on loss and landscape at Lee Park in the Make Space area, starting at 7 o'clock on Friday, May the 12th, and the exhibition goes on, but we're invited to provide readers. So if you want to submit to that, some of you already have, thank you. If you've got anything else to add to loss and landscape, send it in to our inquiries email. Otherwise,
and would that be only, is that only local folks?
No, you know what? If any of you from Zoom want to make a submission, then one of us can read it if Frankie decides that she'd like that to be read. Yeah, certainly somebody can read it for you. So please, if that's something you'd like to submit to, then please don't hold back. Yeah.
Is there a page limit?
No, there isn't, but I mean, I think we've got about 20-25 minutes, so we're expecting to read maybe 4 or 5 pieces. So basically, she's asked us to do that. So, but again, we were asking Frankie to make the initial selection, but I would say keep it shorter rather than longer, frankly.
Now, Ken, are any of those photos available online to see, to actually write a poem to those photos? Or?
Now, that's a really good question, Kevin. I don't know the answer, and I will ask Frankie, and if so, I'll make sure that we send out the link.
I think there is a link to her Lost Landscapes project on our Facebook
There is,
page.
yeah. On the Facebook page? If you go to our Facebook page, which is words spoken with an S out loud, words spokens out loud. It's a typo, but it's how it worked out. Sorry.
But if you go on Facebook,
But if you go to Facebook and search for us, you'll find our page, and we have made a link to Frankie's website. So there may be photos there, but I will follow that up, Kevin, anyway, and if there are photos online, I'll let you know.
Can you give us that link? I mean, where you want us to send the poems one more time?
Right, the poems come to enquiries@wordsoutloud.org.uk. So that's our inquiries email. I'll find out the rest of it. But it's basically the submissions are on the topic of loss and landscape, and the reason is that there's a piece of land, natural beauty, and wildlife habitat not far from here, which is going to be dug up and turned into a reservoir. So Frankie's exhibition is about loss and landscape and the loss of that habitat. So that's her topic, and that's what she invited us to provide readings about. But certainly, if any of our lovely people online want to send us stuff and you're unable to read it, we would be happy to provide people who can read it for you, and that would be great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, everybody. Lovely to see you.
Thank you, Ken. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Love-
you, Bob.
love you all.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye.
Great being there. Thank you, Bob.
Listening. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Ken. All right.
Love you guys.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.